Before God ever introduces you to the right person, he starts working on you. Because the truth is, if you are not whole, if you are not healed, if you are not aligned with God's purpose, then even the right person at the wrong time will feel like the wrong person. You see, God is not just in the business of giving you what you want. He is in the business of shaping you for what you need. Some of us have been praying, Lord, send me my spouse. But God is saying, first, let me send you healing. Because if you enter a relationship still carrying the wounds of your past, still battling insecurity, still doubting your worth, then you will project your brokenness onto someone who was never meant to carry it. That is why God takes his time refining you, because the version of you today may not be ready for the person he has ordained for you tomorrow. Look at the story of Joseph. He had a great destiny, but God didn't elevate him overnight. He took Joseph through a process. He allowed him to be thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and locked up in prison before he ever stepped into the palace. Why? Because God wasn't just preparing the palace for Joseph. He was preparing Joseph for the palace. And the same principle applies to your relationship. Before God brings you into a covenant relationship, he works on your character. Before he lets you build a home with someone, he makes sure you have a foundation that won't crumble under pressure. This is why you have to stop seeing your waiting season as wasted time. Some of you have been frustrated saying, God, I'm ready. Why haven't you sent them yet? But God is saying, I love you too much to give you something you're not prepared to handle. Because a blessing given too soon is no longer a blessing. It becomes a burden. So maybe, just maybe, the reason you're still waiting is because God is developing you. He's stretching your faith, teaching you patience, breaking off toxic mindsets, and healing the parts of you that were never meant to be carried into your next season. Because God doesn't just want you to find a spouse. He wants you to be able to sustain a healthy, God-centered marriage. And he will never give you something that will take you away from him. Some of you have experienced relationships that ended and you wondered why. You questioned, God, I thought that was the one. But let me tell you something. If it left your life, it wasn't meant to stay. If it had to be forced, it wasn't from God. Because when God sends the right person, you won't have to beg for their love. You won't have to compromise your faith, and you won't have to shrink yourself just to make it work. What God ordains, he sustains. So instead of asking God, where is my spouse? Ask God, what are you teaching me in this season? Because when you shift your focus from waiting to preparing, you step into alignment with his perfect timing. And when the time is right, what he has for you will show up, and it won't be something you have to chase. It will be something that naturally aligns with the purpose he placed inside of you. So be patient, be faithful, stay rooted in him. Because when God prepares you, he is not just preparing you for a relationship. He is preparing you for a destiny that will glorify his name. And when the right person comes, you will be able to say with confidence, this is not just love, this is divine alignment. Somebody say, I trust God's timing. There is a difference between discernment and desperation. Desperation makes you settle, but discernment makes you wait. Desperation makes you ignore red flags, but discernment opens your eyes. Desperation will have you choosing based on loneliness, but discernment will have you choosing based on purpose. This is why you cannot allow the pressure of time, society, or even your own emotions to push you into something that God never ordained for your life. See, when you operate in discernment, you don't just ask, do I love this person? You ask, does this person align with where God is taking me? You don't just ask, do they make me happy? You ask, are they part of my destiny? Because the truth is, love alone is not enough. You need spiritual agreement. You need shared values. You need someone who doesn't just see you, but sees what God is doing through you. That is why the enemy will try to send distractions dressed up as the one. He knows that if he can get you entangled with the wrong person, he can delay your purpose. He knows that if he can get you emotionally invested in something God never called you to, you will spend years trying to fix something that was never meant to work in the first place. That's why the Bible warns us in 2 Corinthians 6:14 not to be unequally yoked. Because when you are yoked to someone who does not share your spiritual values, you will always feel like you are pulling in opposite directions. You will feel the tension of trying to grow while they are content staying the same. You will feel the weight of trying to lead spiritually while they have no desire to follow God. And over time, that weight will drain you. But when you have discernment, you don't just look at what is in front of you. You seek God for what is beneath the surface. You ask, does this person truly have a relationship with God, or do they just know how to play church? Because a lot of people can quote scripture, but not everyone is living by it. A lot of people can go to church, but not everyone is walking in obedience. A lot of people can say they love God, but not everyone is submitted to his will. And if you don't have discernment, you will be fooled by outward appearances while ignoring the true condition of someone's heart. Discernment will show you that just because someone is good to you doesn't mean they are good for you. Just because someone makes you feel special doesn't mean they are sent by God. Just because someone fits your preferences doesn't mean they fit your purpose. And this is where many people get trapped. They confuse emotional connection for divine confirmation. They think that just because they feel a strong attraction, it must mean God is in it. But let me tell you something. Not every good feeling comes from God. The enemy knows how to counterfeit blessings. He knows how to disguise distractions as opportunities. He knows how to send someone into your life who seems perfect at first, but slowly pulls you away from your calling. This is why prayer is so important, because when you pray, you invite God into your decision making. You allow the Holy Spirit to give you clarity. You gain the wisdom to see past the surface and into the spirit of a person. And the more you seek God, the more He will show you the truth. He will reveal things that you would have never noticed on your own. He will give you warning signs before you get too deep. He will close doors that were never meant to be opened. But here's the challenge. When God shows you the truth, you have to be willing to accept it. Some of us pray for discernment, but when God reveals the answer, we ignore it because it's not what we wanted to hear. We ask God, is this person for me? And when He gives us clear signs that they are not, we try to negotiate with them. We say, but God, maybe I can change them. Maybe if I just pray harder, they will grow. Maybe if I love them enough, they will start seeking you. But let me tell you something. It is not your job to change anyone. It is not your assignment to fix someone's heart. Only God can do that. And if they are not ready to walk with Him, no amount of love from you will force them to. This is why discernment requires surrender. You have to trust that if God is saying no, it's because He has something better. You have to believe that if He is closing a door, it's because He sees what you cannot see. You have to understand that waiting in God's will is always better than rushing into something that will lead to heartbreak. Because when God sends the right person, you won't have to convince them to love you. You won't have to beg for their consistency. You won't have to compromise your faith just to keep them. The relationship will align naturally because it was orchestrated by God. So don't let desperation lead you into something temporary when God is preparing something eternal. Don't let loneliness make you lower your standards. Don't let fear of being alone push you into a situation that will take you years to recover from. Instead, seek discernment. Ask God for clarity. Pray before you pursue, and trust that when the time is right, what He has for you will not require you to sacrifice your peace, your purpose, or your relationship with Him. Somebody say, I will wait on God. One of the greatest struggles people face when it comes to relationships is timing. We live in a world that teaches us that if something doesn't happen quickly, it isn't happening at all. Society tells us that by a certain age, we should be married, we should have children, we should have a picture-perfect life that looks like it came straight from a magazine. And if those things don't happen according to the timeline that others have set for us, we start to believe that something is wrong. We start to believe that maybe we missed our opportunity. Maybe God forgot about us. Maybe we are behind in life. But let me tell you something. God is not in a hurry. He is not bound by human deadlines, and He is not pressured by your anxiety. His timing is perfect, even when it feels delayed. Think about how many times you have questioned whether God was moving in your life simply because you couldn't see the evidence yet. You've prayed, you've waited, you've watched other people get into relationships, get engaged, get married, and you've wondered, God, when is it my turn? But what if I told you that just because you don't see it happening doesn't mean that God isn't working behind the scenes? What if I told you that God has not forgotten you, but He is preparing something for you that is greater than what you could even imagine? Look at the story of Abraham and Sarah. God promised them a child. But years went by and nothing happened. They got tired of waiting, and Sarah decided to take matters into her own hands, convincing Abraham to have a child with her servant Hagar. But that was never God's plan. That was human impatience trying to force something that only God could provide. And do you know what happened? It led to conflict, confusion, and unnecessary pain. Because whenever you try to speed up God's process, you end up complicating what was meant to be a blessing. Some of you are in a season where you feel like God is taking too long, and you are tempted to settle. You are tempted to make something happen on your own because waiting feels unbearable. But let me remind you of this. When God makes you wait, it is not because He is denying you. It is because He is developing you. Every delay is intentional. Every moment of waiting is a part of your preparation. God is not just making you wait for no reason. He is using this time to refine you, to strengthen your faith, to remove things from your life that do not belong in your future. Because let's be honest, there were people in your past that you thought were the one, and when it didn't work out, you were heartbroken. But now looking back, you can see why God didn't allow it to happen. You can see that if you had married that person, your life would be in a completely different place. And that's the beauty of God's timing. He sees what you cannot see. He knows what you do not know. And He loves you too much to let you end up in something that is less than what He intended for you. Some of you are frustrated because you feel like you're doing everything right. You're serving God, you're living in obedience, you're praying, you're fasting, and yet nothing seems to be moving in the direction you expected. But have you ever considered that maybe God is keeping you hidden for a reason? Maybe He is protecting you from relationships that would distract you from your destiny. Maybe He is keeping you single for now because there is still work He needs to do in you before you can step into a healthy, God-ordained relationship. Because the reality is, if you get something too soon, you might mishandle it. If God gives you the right person before you are ready, you may not have the maturity to sustain the relationship. And this is where trust comes in. Do you trust that God's timing is better than yours? Do you trust that His plan is greater than anything you could create for yourself? Do you trust that what He is preparing for you will be worth the wait? Because if you truly believe that, then you won't allow temporary loneliness to make you settle for a lifetime of regret. There is nothing worse than rushing into something that was never meant for you and then having to pray for God to get you out of it. There is nothing worse than stepping into a relationship that you forced and realizing that you were never meant to be there in the first place. That is why patience is so important. That is why faith is required. Because when you trust God's timing, you stop trying to manipulate outcomes. You stop trying to fit people into your life who were never meant to be part of your story. You stop trying to make things happen on your own and instead rest in the assurance that when the time is right, God will align everything perfectly. When it is God's time, things will flow. You won't have to chase it. You won't have to fight for it. You won't have to force it. The right person will come into your life and there will be a peace that surpasses understanding. There will be clarity instead of confusion. There will be divine confirmation instead of constant questioning. Because when God writes your love story, it is not rushed. It is not chaotic. It is not full of uncertainty. It is beautiful. It is purposeful, and it is in His perfect timing. So don't let impatience push you into something that was never meant for you. Don't let frustration make you settle for less than what God has planned. Choose to trust Him. Choose to wait well. Choose to believe that what He has for you is worth every moment of preparation, because when God brings the right person, you will understand why He made you wait. And you will be able to say with full confidence, this was worth it. This was God. This was His perfect plan all along. When it comes to relationships, the world has taught us to prioritize the wrong things. Society tells us to focus on attraction first, to find someone who looks good, someone who fits our idea of the perfect partner. We chase chemistry, we chase excitement, we chase what feels good in the moment without ever stopping to ask, does this align with my spirit? Does this align with where God is taking me? Does this relationship serve my purpose or just my emotions? Because the truth is, physical attraction fades, but a spiritual connection lasts. If the foundation of your relationship is built on nothing more than how good they look, how well they dress, or how they make you feel in a moment, then that relationship is standing on shaky ground. You have to ask yourself, what happens when the excitement wears off? What happens when the butterflies settle? What happens when life gets real, when trials come, when challenges arise? Because they will. And when that happens, will your relationship have the strength to stand? Will you both turn to God together, or will you crumble under the pressure? Will your connection be deep enough to withstand the storms, or will it fall apart because it was never built on anything solid? The problem is that too many people fall in love with appearances and then wonder why their relationship lacks substance. They choose a partner based on how they look, but never stop to discern how they live. They get caught up in how someone makes them feel emotionally, but never pay attention to how that person influences them spiritually. And before they know it, they are tied to someone who may be good on the outside, but is draining them on the inside. This is why God warns us to be careful. He warns us not to be unequally yoked, not because He wants to limit us, but because He wants to protect us. A yoke is what binds two oxen together as they plow a field, and if they are unequally yoked, if one is stronger than the other, if one is pulling in a different direction, the entire field gets ruined. And that is exactly what happens when you enter into a relationship with someone who does not share your faith, your values, or your commitment to God. You will always feel like you are pulling them along, always feel like you are trying to convince them to grow, always feel like you are struggling to keep the relationship moving forward. And let me tell you something, love is not supposed to be a constant battle. A God-ordained relationship is not supposed to feel like you are dragging someone toward your destiny. The right relationship should not drain you, it should pour into you. It should strengthen your walk with God, not weaken it. It should challenge you to grow, not pull you away from your calling. And when you are with the person that God has for you, there will be peace. There will be alignment. There will be a sense of confirmation in your spirit that this is right, not just because it feels good, but because it brings you closer to God. But here's the challenge. Sometimes what looks good in the moment is not what is best for your future. Sometimes the person who excites you is not the person who will sustain you. And if you are not careful, you will let your emotions lead you into something that was never meant for you. You will ignore the warning signs. You will overlook the red flags. You will convince yourself that as long as the chemistry is strong, everything else will fall into place. But let me tell you something, chemistry cannot fix character. Attraction cannot replace alignment. You cannot build a life with someone just because they make your heart race if they do not also make your spirit stronger. And this is why you have to seek God first. Before you let your emotions make the decision, before you get caught up in how someone makes you feel, you need to ask God, is this person sent by you? Do they carry the same purpose? Do they honor you in their life? Will they help me walk in my calling, or will they become a distraction? Because the truth is, not everyone who comes into your life is meant to stay. Not everyone who looks good is good for you, and not every relationship is part of God's plan. Some of you have been in relationships that drained you spiritually, and now you are wondering why your faith feels weak. Some of you have given your time, your energy, your heart to people who never valued what God placed inside of you, and now you are struggling to find your identity again. But hear me when I say this, God's plan for your life has not been destroyed. His purpose for you has not been canceled. And if you let Him, He will restore what was broken. He will heal what was damaged, and He will align you with the person who was meant for you all along. But in order for that to happen, you have to shift your focus. You have to stop chasing relationships based only on surface level attraction and start seeking divine alignment. You have to stop looking for someone who just makes you happy and start looking for someone who pushes you closer to God. You have to stop settling for people who are emotionally available but spiritually absent. Because if they do not know how to love God, they will never know how to love you the way you deserve. If they do not have a relationship with God, then they do not have the wisdom to build a relationship that will last. And let me tell you this, when the right person comes, you will know. You won't have to force it. You won't have to question it every day. You won't have to keep trying to convince yourself that it is right. There will be peace. There will be confirmation. There will be a sense of alignment in your spirit that says, this is what I've been waiting for. And when that happens, you will understand why God made you wait. You will understand why He didn't let you settle. You will understand why He closed some doors, why He removed some people from your life, why He protected you from relationships that were never meant for you. Because God is not just concerned with your feelings. He is concerned with your future. He is not just preparing you for a relationship. He is preparing you for a destiny. And the person He has for you is not just going to be your partner. They are going to be your purpose part. They are going to walk with you, pray with you, build with you, and stand beside you as you both fulfill the calling that God has placed over your lives. So don't settle. Don't let loneliness make you choose someone just because they make you feel good for a moment. Don't let your emotions override your discernment. Seek God first. Trust His plan, and when the time is right, what He has for you will be greater than anything you could have ever imagined. There is nothing more dangerous than stepping outside of God's will in the area of relationships. When you make decisions based on your own desires rather than God's direction, you set yourself up for unnecessary pain, confusion, and heartbreak. The enemy knows that one of the most effective ways to derail your destiny is to connect you with the wrong person. He understands that if he can tie you to someone who is not aligned with your calling, he can slow down, distract, or even completely destroy the purpose that God has placed inside of you. That is why you cannot afford to rely on your own understanding when it comes to choosing a life partner. You need God's guidance. You need his wisdom. You need his discernment, because this is not just about who you love. It's about who you build with, who you grow with, who you share your life with. The person you choose to marry will impact your spiritual journey in ways you cannot even begin to imagine. One of the biggest mistakes people make is allowing their emotions to make the decision for them. Emotions are powerful, but they are not always reliable. You can feel deeply connected to someone who is completely wrong for you. You can feel chemistry with someone who is not capable of leading you spiritually. You can love someone who does not love God, and if you are not careful, you will let your emotions override your discernment, and you will find yourself entangled in something that is pulling you away from your faith rather than pushing you deeper into it. The Bible says in Proverbs 3:05, that 6, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. That means you cannot afford to trust your own judgment alone. You cannot afford to base your decisions solely on attraction, compatibility, or even emotional connection. You need to submit your relationships to God. You need to seek his voice, ask for his direction, and wait for his confirmation before you move forward. Because when God is in it, there will be clarity, not confusion. There will be peace, not anxiety. There will be alignment, not resistance. The enemy does not fight fair. He will not come at you with something obvious. He will not present you with a partner who is openly destructive. He will send someone who looks good on the outside, someone who checks off all the boxes on your list, someone who seems perfect at first, but who does not have the spiritual foundation to walk with you into your destiny. That is why you must pray before you commit. You must seek wisdom before you invest your heart. Because the worst thing you can do is marry someone based on potential rather than purpose. Potential can be deceiving. Just because someone has the ability to grow does not mean they will. Just because they have the potential to lead does not mean they're willing to. Just because they say they love God does not mean they are truly submitted to it. This is where discernment is critical. If you marry someone based on who you hope they will become rather than who they are right now, you may spend years frustrated, waiting for them to change, waiting for them to catch up to where you are spiritually, waiting for them to become the person you imagine them to be. But what if they never do? What if they remain the same? What if their priorities never shift, their faith never grows, and their commitment to God remains lukewarm? Are you willing to risk your calling for a relationship that is built on the hope that they might change? This is why you must pay attention to the fruit, not just the words. Jesus said in Matthew 7:16, you will know them by their fruit, not by what they say, not by what they promise, but by the evidence of their life. Do they walk in integrity? Do they honor God in their decisions? Do they seek him in their daily life? Are they growing spiritually, or are they stagnant? Because if you connect yourself to someone who is not moving in the same direction as you will constantly feel like you are carrying the weight of the relationship alone. You will feel like you are trying to push them toward God while they are pulling you in the opposite direction. A relationship should not be a constant battle for alignment. The right person will not need to be convinced to pray with you. They will not need to be pressured into pursuing God. They will already be walking with him before they ever walk into your life. You should not have to beg someone to love Jesus. You should not have to compromise your faith to maintain a relationship. because the person God has for you will not be a spiritual burden. They will be a blessing. They will strengthen you, encourage you, and walk beside you in faith. Too many people settle for relationships that drain them because they are afraid to be alone. They compromise their standards because they think waiting on God is taking too long. But let me tell you something. Loneliness is never a reason to settle. Just because you are alone does not mean you are abandoned. Just because you are waiting does not mean you are forgotten. God is not punishing you by making you wait. He is protecting you. He is shielding you from relationships that would break you. He is preparing you for something greater than what you could have chosen for yourself. If you rush ahead of God, you will always regret it. If you force a relationship that He never ordained, you will find yourself asking Him to fix something that He never told you to start. That is why patience is necessary. That is why trust is required. You must believe that God knows what He is doing. You must trust that He sees the bigger picture, that He knows what is best for you, that His plan is worth waiting for. Because when you wait on God, you will never have to wonder if you made the right choice. When He brings the right person into your life, it will not feel forced. It will not feel confusing. It will not require you to compromise your relationship with Him just to keep them. The right person will come at the right time, and when they do, you will understand why God made you wait. You will understand why He didn't let you settle. You will understand why He allowed certain relationships to end, why He closed some doors, why He redirected your path. And when that moment comes, you will look back and realize that His timing was perfect all along. So do not grow weary in waiting. Do not allow impatience to push you into something that is not meant for you. Do not let loneliness convince you to accept less than what God has promised. Seek Him first. Trust His process. And when the time is right, He will align you with the person who was created to walk with you in purpose, in faith, and in His divine will. There is something powerful about trusting God with your love life. Too often people believe that they must take full control, make things happen on their own, and force relationships into existence. They rush into love, move ahead of God's timing, and then wonder why their relationships end in heartbreak. But the truth is, when you surrender this area of your life to God, when you let Him lead you, when you truly trust His plan, He will align you with the right person in a way that is undeniable, unshakable, and unbreakable. God is not just interested in blessing you with a relationship. He is interested in positioning you for purpose. He does not just want to give you someone who makes you happy for a moment. He wants to align you with someone who will walk with you in destiny, someone who will sharpen you spiritually, someone who will love you the way He designed love to be. That is why you cannot afford to rush. That is why you cannot afford to settle, because when you wait on God, what He brings you will be worth every second of patience, every tear you cry, every moment you wondered if He had forgotten. But waiting is not easy. Waiting can feel lonely. Waiting can feel like you are being overlooked while everyone around you is getting into relationships, getting engaged, getting married. Waiting can feel like you are falling behind. But hear me, just because it hasn't happened yet does not mean it is not going to happen. Just because you don't see movement does not mean God is not working behind the scenes. He is preparing you. He is refining you. He is building you into the person you need to be, so that when the right person comes, you will be ready to receive them, ready to love them the way God intended, ready to step into a relationship that glorifies Him. One of the greatest mistakes people make is thinking that a relationship will fix what is broken inside of them. They believe that if they can just find the right person, then they will finally feel whole, finally feel worthy, finally feel loved. But let me tell you, no person can complete you, no human being can heal the wounds in your heart that only God can heal. If you go into a relationship looking for someone to fix you, to validate you, to prove your worth, you will place a burden on that person that they were never meant to carry. And eventually the weight of your expectations will crush the relationship. That is why God often makes you wait, not because he is withholding something from you, but because he is giving you time to heal, time to grow, time to find your identity in him first before you try to build a life with someone else. Because if you do not know who you are in God, if you do not know your worth in him, you will settle for relationships that are beneath you. You will tolerate mistreatment. You will ignore red flags. You will accept less than what God has planned for you because you do not fully understand how deeply loved and valued you already are in him. A healthy relationship is not built on two incomplete people trying to fix each other. It is built on two whole people who have already allowed God to do a work in them before coming together. That is why you must trust the process. You must trust that the waiting season is not a wasted season. You must trust that when God says not yet, it is not rejection, it is protection. He is keeping you from heartbreak. He is shielding you from unnecessary pain. He is making sure that the person you align yourself with is not just a temporary love, but a lifelong partner in purpose. And this is why discernment is so important. When the wrong person comes, they will look good. They will say all the right things. They will appear to be everything you have been praying for, but deep down, something will feel off. You will feel a hesitation in your spirit. You will feel a lack of peace. You will sense that something is not aligning, even if everything on the surface seems perfect. And that is where many people get stuck. They ignore that feeling. They silence the voice of the Holy Spirit. They convince themselves that they can make it work, that they can change the person, that things will get better over time. But what they do not realize is that ignoring God's warning signs will always lead to regret. When the right person comes, you will not have to force it. You will not have to constantly question if they are the one. You will not have to lower your standards or compromise your values just to keep them. The relationship will flow with ease. It will be covered in peace. It will push you closer to God, not pull you away from him. The right person will not just love you, they will love God first. They will lead with integrity. They will encourage your growth. They will pray with you, fight for you, and walk with you in faith. And when you experience that kind of love, you will understand why God had you wait. You will understand why certain relationships did not work out. You will understand why he closed some doors, why he removed some people from your life, why he did not allow you to settle for anything less than his best. Because his plan is always greater than what we could have imagined for ourselves. His timing is always perfect, even when it feels delayed. His choice for you is always better than what you would have chosen on your own. So do not let impatience push you into the wrong relationship. Do not let loneliness convince you to settle for less than what God has promised. Do not rush ahead of his plan thinking you can make things happen on your own. Seek him first. Trust his process and know that when the time is right, the love he brings into your life will not just be good, it will be godly. It will not just make you happy, it will make you whole. It will not just fulfill your desires, it will align with your destiny. And when that moment comes, you will look back and realize that every second of waiting, every prayer, every tear, every lonely night was all worth it, because what God has for you will always be worth the wait. God's way of bringing two people together is not like the world's way. The world tells you that love is all about finding someone who makes you feel good, someone who looks the part, someone who checks off all the boxes on your list. But God's plan for your life partner goes beyond what you see on the surface. He is not just looking at attraction, compatibility, or shared interests. He is looking at purpose, destiny, and spiritual alignment. Because the person you marry is not just a romantic partner. They are a life partner, a purpose partner, someone who will walk with you, build with you, fight battles with you, and fulfill God's calling on your life alongside you. That is why you cannot rush this process. You cannot choose a life partner based on emotion alone. You cannot allow loneliness to drive you into the arms of the wrong person. You must trust that God's timing is perfect, that He is not withholding love from you, but preparing you for the kind of love that will last a lifetime. You must believe that He is working behind the scenes, aligning the right person at the right time in a way that only He can. But here's the challenge. God's way often requires patience. And patience is hard when you don't see movement. It's hard when it feels like everyone around you is getting married while you are still waiting. It's hard when you feel ready, but nothing seems to be happening. And in those moments, the enemy will whisper lies. He will tell you that God has forgotten about you, that you need to take matters into your own hands, that maybe you are being too picky, that maybe you should settle for whoever is available. But the devil is a liar. God does not need your help to fulfill His plan. He does not need you to lower your standards. He does not need you to compromise your values just to be in a relationship. What He has for you will not require you to beg for love, chase after someone, or force something that is not meant to be. When God writes your love story, there is peace, there is clarity, there is alignment, there is confirmation in your spirit that this is the person He has chosen for you. But when you try to write the story yourself, when you force relationships that were never meant to be, you end up with confusion, heartbreak, and unnecessary pain. That is why you must learn to surrender this area of your life completely to Him. You must let go of control, let go of fear, let go of impatience, and trust that His plan is better than anything you could create on your own. God is not just preparing a person for you. He is preparing you for that person. He is refining your heart, shaping your character, deepening your faith, so that when you come together, you will not just have a marriage, but a ministry. Your relationship will not just be about romance, it will be about kingdom purpose. That is why the waiting season is so important. It is a season of transformation, of growth, of becoming the person God has called you to be. Many people pray for the right spouse, but they do not prepare to be the right spouse. They want a godly partner, but they are not living a godly life. They want someone who prays, but they do not have a prayer life themselves. They want someone who is spiritually strong, but they are still struggling with spiritual immaturity. God is not going to bless you with something you are not ready to handle. He is not going to send you a prepared person while you are still living in a state of compromise. That is why He calls you to grow first, to heal first, to deepen your relationship with Him first. Because when the time comes, He does not want you to just be in love. He wants you to be equipped. Equipped to love, equipped to lead, equipped to build a marriage that will stand the test of time. Too many people enter relationships broken, expecting another person to fix them. But no human being can fill the void that only God can fill. No relationship can heal wounds that only God can heal. If you enter a relationship hoping that another person will make you feel whole, you will place an impossible burden on them. You will expect them to give you what only God can give, and eventually the weight of those expectations will break the relationship. That is why before God brings the right person, He works on you. He deals with your insecurities, your fears, your past wounds, your unresolved pain, because He does not just want you to be in a relationship, He wants you to be whole. So if you are waiting, trust that the waiting has a purpose. Trust that God is not just making you wait for no reason. He is building you, refining you, positioning you, and when the right time comes, you will not have to force anything. You will not have to chase anyone. You will not have to beg for attention, wonder if they are interested, or convince them to see your worth. Because the person God has for you will recognize you. They will see you the way God sees you. They will honor you, value you, love you in a way that is healthy, whole, and aligned with God's purpose for your life. God's choice will not pull you away from Him. It will bring you closer. God's choice will not drain you. It will strengthen you. God's choice will not make you compromise your faith. It will encourage you to grow deeper in it. And when you experience that kind of love, you will understand why God made you wait. You will understand why He did not allow you to settle. You will understand why certain relationships had to end, why some people had to walk away, why He protected you from connections that were never meant to last. So do not grow weary in waiting. Do not believe the lie that you have been forgotten. Do not let loneliness make you settle for less than what God has planned for you. Trust His timing. Trust His process. And know that when He brings the right person into your life, it will not just be a good relationship. It will be a God-ordained relationship, a relationship that will glorify Him, strengthen you, and fulfill the purpose He has placed inside of you. And when that happens, you will look back and realize that every moment of waiting, every unanswered prayer, every tear, every lonely season, it was all worth it, because what God has for you will always be worth the wait. There is something powerful about trusting God's timing when it comes to finding the right life partner. In a world that constantly pushes people to chase love, to rush relationships, to settle for what is convenient instead of what is divinely appointed, it can be hard to wait. It can be hard to trust that God is working behind the scenes when all you see is silence. It can be hard to believe in His plan when you feel overlooked, when it seems like everyone else is moving forward while you are stuck in a waiting season. But let me tell you, God is not delaying you. He is developing you. He is preparing you. He is positioning you for something greater than you can imagine. Because when God is the author of your love story, the ending will always be worth the wait. Many people make the mistake of thinking that love is something they must go out and find on their own. They believe that if they do not chase after it, if they do not force it, if they do not take matters into their own hands, they will be left behind. And so they settle. They settle for relationships that are convenient instead of God-ordained. They settle for people who do not share their values, people who do not push them closer to God, people who do not truly align with their purpose. And then they wonder why they are left feeling empty. They wonder why the relationship is filled with confusion, pain, and compromise. They wonder why things fall apart. But hear me, anything you have to force is not from God. Anything that requires you to compromise who you are, anything that pulls you away from Him instead of drawing you closer, anything that brings more turmoil than peace is not His best for you. God is not just interested in giving you a spouse. He is interested in giving you a purpose partner. Someone who will not just love you, but love God first. Someone who will not just support your dreams, but align with the vision God has placed over your life. Someone who will challenge you, sharpen you, push you into greater levels of faith and purpose. That is why you cannot afford to rush. That is why you cannot afford to settle for someone just because they are available, just because you are tired of being alone, just because you are afraid that if you wait too long, you will miss your chance. God's timing is never off. His plans are never late. When He brings the right person into your life, it will be at the exact moment you need them in a way that leaves no doubt that this is His doing. But here's the truth. Before God brings that person, He works on you. He shapes you. He refines you. He strengthens your faith, matures your heart, and prepares you for the relationship you are praying for. Because too many people ask God for a good spouse without first asking God to make them a good spouse. They pray for a godly partner, but they are not living a godly life. They want someone who is spiritually strong, but they are still battling inconsistency in their own faith. They want someone who will love them well, but they have not yet healed from the wounds of the past. And so God says, before I bring them, let me work on you. He works on your insecurities so that you do not enter a relationship expecting another person to validate you. He works on your trust so that you do not carry past betrayals into your future marriage. He works on your patience so that you do not rush ahead of Him and get entangled with someone who was never meant for you. He works on your ability to love selflessly, to communicate with wisdom, to build a foundation that is strong enough to sustain a lifelong covenant. Because when God blesses you with a partner, it is not just about romance. It is about kingdom purpose. It is about a marriage that reflects His glory, a love that withstands the trials of life, a partnership that is rooted in faith, not just feelings. And so if you are waiting right now, if you are wondering why God has not yet answered your prayer for a spouse, let me encourage you, do not mistake His silence for His absence. Just because you do not see movement does not mean He is not working. Just because the door has not opened yet does not mean He has forgotten you. He is preparing something greater than what you could ever orchestrate on your own. He is aligning circumstances, shifting hearts, creating divine appointments that you cannot see yet. And when the time is right, when both you and the person He has for you are ready, it will happen effortlessly, in a way that only He can orchestrate. The right person will not require you to beg for love. The right person will not confuse you. The right person will not play games with your heart. When it is from God, it will come with peace. It will come with clarity. It will come with confirmation. And when you experience that kind of love, the kind that is not just good, but God ordained, you will understand why God had you wait. You will understand why certain relationships had to end. You will understand why He closed doors, why He did not allow you to settle, why He protected you from what you thought you wanted. Because what He has for you is better. So do not grow weary in the waiting. Do not allow loneliness to push you into something less than what God has promised. Do not let impatience lead you to make a decision that you will later regret. Trust His timing, trust His plan, and know that when He brings the right person, it will not just be a love story, it will be a testimony of His faithfulness, His perfect timing, and His unwavering love for you. And when that day comes, you will look back and realize that every moment of waiting, every prayer, every tear was all worth it, because God's plan for you has always been worth the wait. There is a reason why God does not always give us what we want when we want it. There is a reason why he allows delays, why he makes us wait, why he closes doors that we thought should be open. And when it comes to finding the right life partner, this truth is even more important, because marriage is not just about love, it is about destiny. It is about purpose. It is about two people coming together in divine alignment to fulfill something greater than themselves. And when God is writing your love story, he is not just looking at the moment, you see right now, but he sees the future. He sees the calling on your life. He sees the battles ahead. He sees the purpose that needs to be fulfilled. And he is not going to send just anyone. He is going to send the right one. But here is the challenge. The right one comes at the right time. And for many of us, the hardest thing to do is wait. We want love now. We want companionship now. We see others getting married, moving forward, building families, and we wonder, God, have you forgotten me? We look at our age, we look at the years passing, and we begin to feel like maybe we need to take matters into our own hands. Maybe we should lower our standards. Maybe we should settle for someone who is available, even if they are not aligned with our faith, our values, or our purpose. Maybe we should stop waiting for something divine and just accept what is in front of us. But that is where so many people make the mistake that leads to years of heartache. Because anything outside of God's timing will always require you to compromise. Anything you force will eventually break. Anything you rush into without God's blessing will bring more pain than joy. When God chooses your life partner, it is not based on superficial attraction or temporary emotion. He is not just thinking about your happiness. He is thinking about your spiritual health, your growth, your calling. He is looking at the person who will walk with you through storms, who will pray for you when you are weak, who will encourage you when you feel like giving up. He is choosing someone who will build with you, not tear you down. Someone who will push you toward him, not pull you away. Someone who will stand beside you, not just in the good times, but when life gets hard. But before God brings that person, he prepares you. And that preparation often comes in the form of waiting. It comes in the form of being single longer than you expected. It comes in the form of healing, growing, maturing in your faith, so that when the right person comes, you are not just ready to receive them, but ready to be the partner they need as well. Because marriage is not just about finding the right person. It is about being the right person. It is about being emotionally healthy, spiritually strong, and mature enough to handle the responsibilities of a covenant relationship. Many people pray for a godly spouse, but they do not prepare to be a godly spouse. They ask God for someone who is faithful, but they have not yet learned how to be faithful. They want someone who will love them unconditionally, but they still struggle with loving themselves. They want someone who is kind, patient, and full of grace, but they have not yet developed those qualities in their own heart. And so God, in his wisdom, says, before I give you what you are praying for, let me make you ready for it. That is why the waiting season is so crucial. It is not punishment. It is preparation. It is where God refines your character. It is where he teaches you how to rely on him instead of depending on another person to fill your voids. It is where he breaks cycles of insecurity, fear, and brokenness, so that when you step into a relationship, you do not carry past wounds into something new. Because love is not about finding someone to complete you. Love is about two whole people coming together to complement one another. And if you are looking for completion in another person, you will always be disappointed. No human being can do what only God was meant to do. So if you are still waiting, trust that God is not making you wait without purpose. He is protecting you. He is aligning things in the background. He is keeping you from stepping into something that is not his best. And when the time comes, you will not have to chase anyone. You will not have to force a connection. You will not have to convince someone to love you. The person God has for you will recognize you. They will see you through the lens of purpose. They will honor you. They will love you the way Christ loves the church, with sacrifice, with commitment, with a love that is rooted in something deeper than just emotion. And when you experience that kind of love, you will look back and understand why God made you wait. You will understand why he closed certain doors. You will understand why some relationships had to end, why some people had to leave, why he kept you hidden when you wanted to be seen. Because what he has for you is not just a relationship, it is a kingdom partnership. It is something that will bring him glory. And it will be worth every moment of waiting. So do not settle. Do not let impatience lead you into something that will bring more pain than joy. Do not allow loneliness to trick you into accepting something less than what God has promised. Wait on the Lord. Trust his timing. And know that when he moves, when he brings the right person, it will be undeniable. It will come with peace. It will come with clarity. It will come with confirmation, and it will be better than anything you could have ever planned for yourself, because God's love story for you is greater than anything this world could ever offer. And when you finally step into it, you will realize that every moment of waiting was preparing you for something beautiful, something powerful, something that will last a lifetime. There is a reason why God calls you to trust him in this journey of finding the right life partner. It is because he sees what you cannot see. He knows what you do not know. He understands what you have yet to understand. And when God is leading you, he is not just leading you to a person. He is leading you to a purpose, to a destiny, to a covenant that will not just bring happiness, but fulfillment, alignment, and the kind of love that reflects his heart. But here's the thing. Trusting God's plan means surrendering your own. It means letting go of your timeline, your expectations, your desire to control the outcome. It means choosing faith over fear, patience over panic, preparation over desperation. And that is where many people struggle, because waiting is hard, trusting is hard. Watching other people step into relationships while you are still in a season of waiting can make you question if God has forgotten you. It can make you wonder if you are doing something wrong, if you need to settle, if you need to take matters into your own hands. But let me tell you, God is never late. His timing is not off. And if you try to rush ahead of him, if you try to force something that is not from him, you will always end up with something that is less than what he intended. When God is writing your love story, he is not just thinking about your happiness today. He is thinking about your future, your purpose, your destiny. He is thinking about the battles you will face, the challenges that will come, the calling that he has placed over your life. And he is not going to send just anyone to walk that journey with you. He is preparing someone who will strengthen you, not weaken you, someone who will build with you, not break you, someone who will pray for you, not prey on you, someone who will love you the way Christ loves the church, with patience, with sacrifice, with a love that is rooted in something deeper than just emotion. But before God brings that person, he works on you. And that is the part that many people overlook. They want a godly spouse, but they do not take the time to become a godly spouse. They want someone who is faithful, but they struggle with commitment themselves. They want someone who is mature, but they are still carrying emotional wounds from the past. They want a healthy relationship, but they have not yet allowed God to heal the areas in their heart that are still broken. And so God, in his love and wisdom, says, before I bring them, let me work on you. He works on your trust so that you do not enter a relationship with fear and insecurity. He works on your patience so that you do not rush into something that is not meant for you. He works on your ability to love unconditionally, to forgive, to communicate, to build something that will last. Because love is not just about emotions, it is about foundation. And if you do not allow God to build your foundation first, whatever you build on your own will eventually crumble. That is why you must embrace the waiting season. It is not punishment, it is preparation. It is where God refines your character, teaches you what love truly is, and aligns your heart with His. It is where He protects you from relationships that are not meant for you, doors that are not aligned with your destiny, people who may look good but are not good for you. Because not every person you are attracted to is assigned to you. Not every opportunity is a God opportunity. And if you are not careful, you will mistake a distraction for destiny. You will allow loneliness to push you into something that was never meant to last. But when God brings the right person, you will not have to force it. You will not have to beg for their attention. You will not have to convince them of your worth. The right person will recognize you. They will see you the way God sees you. They will honor you, love you, and walk with you in a way that is healthy, whole, and aligned with God's purpose. And when that happens, you will understand why God made you wait. You will understand why certain relationships had to end. You will understand why some people walked away, why He closed certain doors, why He did not allow you to settle. Because what He has for you is not just good, it is God ordained. It is something that will bring Him glory, strengthen your faith, and stand the test of time. So do not settle. Do not allow impatience to lead you into something that will bring more pain than joy. Do not let fear convince you that you have been forgotten. Trust His timing, trust His process, and know that when God moves, when He brings the right person, it will be undeniable. It will come with peace. It will come with clarity. It will come with confirmation. And it will be better than anything you could have ever imagined, because God's love story for you is not just about finding a partner. It is about fulfilling a purpose. It is about stepping into a relationship that will not just make you happy, but make you stronger. And when you finally experience that, you will realize that every moment of waiting, every unanswered prayer, every tear, every lonely season was preparing you for something greater than you ever expected. Because what God has for you has always been worth the wait. So I leave you with this. Trust Him. Trust His timing. Trust His process. Trust that He knows what He is doing even when you do not understand. Because the God who created the heavens and the earth, the God who formed you in your mother's womb, the God who has written every day of your life before you have even lived it, He is not going to fail you now. He is not withholding love from you. He is preparing you for the right love. He is not ignoring your prayers. He is aligning the answer with His perfect will. He is not punishing you with waiting. He is protecting you from settling, because what He has for you is greater than what you could ever build on your own. So hold on. Keep trusting. Keep growing. Keep walking in faith. Because when the time is right, when you are ready and the one He has for you is ready, it will happen in a way that only God can orchestrate. And when it does, you will look back and understand why every delay was divine, why every closed door was a blessing, why every moment of waiting was shaping you for something extraordinary. And in that moment, you will not just have a love story, you will have a testimony. A testimony of God's faithfulness, His goodness, and His perfect plan. And you will know without a shadow of a doubt that His way was always worth the wait.